So I'm here today with Gary Willmott and from Hi5. And Gary, thanks so much for your time. So lucky that we can be with you. And so we're going to be talking today just around culture, HR, and you also run a program called HR Disrupt and many other things. So yeah, maybe just tell us a little bit about Hi5 and HR Disrupt.
I ran a digital product studio, managed it with a partner for 10 years, and what we realized is this process of managing people was actually a lot harder than we thought. When we were, myself and my partner were both very creative. I come from a programming background, he came from a design background. And as the company grew, we had more staff, more people, and we realized this task of managing people was actually quite intensive. So what we did is we realized as we grew more and more, we were literally doubling in size, and we thought we actually need some help here. So we took on the task of looking for HR consultants and people to help us navigate this journey of managing people. And we brought in a lady. She was amazing and literally helped us with just ongoing staff engagement. But what we saw is that just the nature of our work was very, very intense, and the whole process of managing people was quite administrative, lots of paperwork, lots of meetings, and just being the curious people we were and the product people we were, we realized there must be a better way of doing this. So we looked for tools online that can help almost automate all this administration, all these meetings, so that we could almost, like, when we engage with people, we almost got that data on hand. So we couldn't find any solution. So a very, very long story short, we actually built our own little solution internally that worked quite well for us. Turns out the word spread quite quickly, and now Hi5 has been used by thousands of companies all around the world. So that's a 4-year journey condensed to where we are. So yeah.
Oh, that's an incredible story of just seeing a problem that is just related to how do you measure people, how do you measure culture, how do you measure all of the kind of intangible things that are happening in a company, because it's so difficult. How do you measure culture?
It's an interesting one thing that you say, because culture, there's many ways to define culture. A lot of people say that culture is how the employees behave when the leaders are at the office. But at the end of the day, the culture is the behaviors that are underpinned within the company. So there's different ways that you can measure and manage this culture. I mean, Hi5 as a platform does that through its mobile app. But at the end of the day, what we've seen, the most important thing is that the leaders have to ensure that the culture is defined. And the best way to obviously do that is by ensuring that the values are communicated, that everyone's aligned to them, they understand them. And what we try and coach and help leaders do is to ensure that they define the values in such a way that they actually make sense to the staff. Because what we find is you've got your age-old archaic values that are in the laboratory, the things like teamwork and trust and integrity, and they maybe got copy and pasted from the internet, but it doesn't make any sense to the employees. So you want to make them fresh, make them relevant, and make sure they make sense to the employees.
That's good. So define the values, and then begin to define the culture according to those values, but make it relevant.
Exactly.
And how does it actually relate to the employee that's on the ground, saying, hey, this is what drives our culture, and it's clearly defined, but it's also relevant, and it's not just copy and paste words. Exactly.
And the key thing you want to do is, if you want to get the employees to buy into those values and that culture. I mean, that's the biggest trick. It's all well and said to put them on a plaque on the wall, but if it doesn't mean anything, if they don't buy into them, how are you going to get your employees to buy into this culture?